So, I have a trio of BG's showcases coming, and the first one I want to show off is Lumatrix. And this guy's really cool. I actually really like him. I got him early on because I did spend some on the weekly deals to be able to get the light essence to have him early, because I'm a person who wants to acquire all the champions I can get. So even though he was exclusive, even since it was basically in the realm of money that I would have spent, I decided to go for him, and I think it was worth it because I got a really fun champ, one who is rather exclusive at the moment, although a lot of players are slowly starting to get him, depending on how adamant you've been with getting light essence. And we're going to show him off against some really cool BG's fights, because he is a pretty good BG's attacker. He's very good for short form content, that is what he's made to do, but his damage is high enough to where it translates well into most pieces of content in MCoC. So starting off against Photon, which is always a good defender that you want a skill champ to be able to counter, because quite frankly, the Science class is the worst defensive class in the game, and Photon is one of the few exceptions when it comes to having a lot of defenders in that class. So the ability to be able to take Photon very well is super important for a skill champ. So yeah, I'm going to be showing quite a few BG's fights with Lumatrix in this video. If you're interested in seeing more of my BG's content for Tigra and Vox coming up, do hit that subscribe button so you're going to be able to actually see those when they release relatively soon, probably sometime this week. So anyway, we're going to fight Kindred next, and this is a very interesting fight for Lumatrix because it functions a little bit differently in how you want to use your rotation. Now, you could probably use the regular rotation, but I wanted to use something that's really cool for exclusively Lumatrix and Isophene when it comes to countering Kindred, and that's the fact that I'm going to be able to save a special attack until the root because of the fractured power bar to be able to immediately remove his root. And just like that, because of the fact that I dropped a special 2, add a special 3, I was able to use my special 1 right after and make sure I had enough power to be able to bypass the root phase. And that's something that not a lot of champs can do. Obviously, the fractured power bar champs like Lumatrix and Isophene are really good in that area, because they are the only fractured power bar champs in the game at the moment until we get more Eidols. And there are some other champs who will have like power reserve mechanics or something like Jean Grey's Uncanny passive to be able to help against Kindred in that aspect, but Lumatrix I feel like is one of the best champs who can counter that when it comes to being able to drop a special attack and have another one ready for you pretty much immediately. So now we're going to fight this Werewolf. Werewolf isn't that much of a defender, but he does have a very large health pool. And another thing about Werewolf is he's going to try to chip you down mainly with Ruptures. Well, Lumatrix is one of the few Rupture immune champs in the game, so I can block his medium attacks and not get Ruptured. But in that fight, we didn't even take any damage, because another thing about Lumatrix is you can do a lot of his rotation without even having to block. You get your openings by doing the charging the heavy thing into an evade, and then you have the miss, which is going to help you get openings. Like, he is the king of getting good openings, because he has so many different ways of doing so because of the miss and the evade. But what if we can't get those good openings, like against Nick Fury here? Like, how well is he going to do when he can't be evaded, or when he can't evade or can't cause the opponent to miss? Well, let's check that out. When Nick Fury has 5 or more tactical charges, he cannot evade or miss. He basically has a true focus buff, it's just not actually there, and that kind of makes it to where Lumatrix can't do his evade thing for the cunning, and the cunning is what's going to increase your crit damage and critical rating, which is his main source of damage, is doing crits on basics or specials. So what I'm going to do here is push him to his 20th tactical charge, so now he's at 0, and then I can go for an evade, proc myself with the invisibility, and then go for the special 1 into a special 2, and we have 6 cunning, and that is plenty. We have 2 furies, which is a lot of extra damage as well, and we're unblockable there, which is super great. So I'm going to go for an evade. I don't even go for an evade because I don't need to. We're just going to kill him with our extremely hard-hitting basic attacks like that. And then Nick goes down in 78 seconds, which for a non-mutant champ, I'd say that's pretty decent. It's not like the fastest thing ever, but it is certainly good. Next up, we're going to fight Sentinel. This is one of the many tech defenders we're going to fight in this video. A common thing for tech defenders is they have extremely high armor rating, and that's what's making them stall so long. But with Lumatrix, you're going to be increasing your crit rating, and eventually you're going to be getting extremely high crit damage rating and guaranteed crits, which is just going to bypass 80% of Sentinel's armor, and that's going to make it to where you usually want to use like a red number champion for Sentinel. However, Lumatrix has the yellow numbers so consistent that you can counter him that way, because a lot of champs aren't going to have yellow numbers against Sentinel just because of the sheer amount of crit resist that Sentinel actually has. But Lumatrix, once he gets the guaranteed crits at 8 cunning, just bypasses all that together. So I'm going to mess up there, accidentally block his special attack, but he's going to go down right after, and that was a very fast fight. It should have been full health, I just messed up, and that would have been a really, really good score. So, again, another tech defender we're going to fight is Red Skull, who has the kind of same threat as Sentinel, although I think Sentinel is a bit more threatening than Red Skull. It just kind of depends on the meta, I suppose. This is going to be the Gladiator Circuit. I think all these fights are Gladiator Circuit except for that Sentinel. So we do have to deal with this Energize here, but that's fine. We can easily heavy counter Red Skull's special 1, which is going to use the heavy attack so we can't auto block it. And Lumatrix's heavy attack, it has a small little benefit where it grants the opponent 20% less power, which is certainly a little bit interesting when it comes to like an Energize meta. It's not like the most impactful utility piece ever, but it is a little bit nice. And when you're invisible, you just give them a flat 20% less combat power rate in general. It's not just tied to the heavy. So yeah, we're gonna go for the special 2, right, or special 1 into a special 2, I'm sorry, right here, and that's gonna basically kill Red Skull. So I'm gonna go for the Relic, and then we just kill him with the medium attack right there, and that's Red Skull in 55 seconds at full health. Now we're going to fight Lumatrix himself, and this is a pretty interesting one. Some metas, it's actually really annoying to fight Lumatrix because of the thing I talked about earlier about getting openings. Openings versus Lumatrix is, when it comes to fighting him, is relatively difficult when he is stun immune, because you can't bait a heavy attack because he is going to get his evade charge, and if he drops a special 1, he's going to cause the cloak invisibility stuff. And then if it drops a special 2, he also gets the evade charge. So when it comes to not being able to stun him, it's really difficult to fight him sometimes. Like here, I can't hit him, but I can go for my evade when it is off cooldown. And I'm going to put it off cooldown here, so that helps. And then I'm just going to trigger my miss right there and go for a special 2, and that's going to finish off this Lumatrix. So 55-second fight. Again, getting those openings with your evade charge is just super awesome, especially when fighting a stun immune champion such as that Lumatrix and basically everyone in this meta. But again, you can't really bait Lumatrix's heavy and expect to be able to punish it because of the evade. So that's what makes Lumatrix really good for that matchup, because you don't need to have the openings by baiting a heavy. So now we're going to fight Guardian, another tech defender where it's like, hey, they have a lot of armor, so Lumatrix is just going to be really good because you can blast through that armor. So yeah, Guardian's not much of a defender, especially now with the state of the Cosmic class, but it's certainly a good looking matchup. So might as well include it in the video because it's a very nice fight. And I'm going to bait Guardian special 1 here. And Guardian also has his threat of his auto block, but when we go for Lumatrix's special 1, we are going to get an unblockable passive that's just going to make it to where, hey, that doesn't actually happen. He's going to auto block here, but then the final hit's unblockable, and my special 2 is unblockable, and then he's going to drop a special 2, which I didn't want him to drop, but it's fine, it did not, it didn't really matter. So 47-second kill, love to see it. So what about Spider-Ham here? You don't really want to be having a lot of bars of power on end against Ham. So some champs who want to exclusively use SP2s is going to be a bit frustrating because of the fact that he's going to be building nonsense while you're trying to cross from the 1 bar to 2 bar. So what we're going to do with Lumatrix here is literally just gain our cunning and then drop heavies and special 1s. And this is a pretty consistent rotation. You're going to see that the fight time at the end is actually not that bad. Because his basics hit pretty hard even without the Furies, especially against the Science champ where you have 40% extra attack due to class advantage. So The taunt is also reducing my base attack by a bit, which is a little bit annoying, but I do have 5 cunning here, which is making our mediums and lights hit pretty decently hard, and we're just going to keep getting more cunning as it becomes available to us because of the heavy attack. So I'm drop a special 1 here, and we're invisible again, and then I'm just going to kill him with 1 combo, and that's a pig down in like 49 seconds, I believe? Yes. Okay, one thing I didn't even mention yet, that I'm surprised I didn't actually talk about, is why he's not getting stunned with this meta. Because normally, when fighting a champion with Lumatrix and you do your evade charge, if the evade procs, you place a stun. So that stun would normally trigger stun reflect, right? Well, it actually doesn't, because during Lumatrix's cloak, when he is invisible, he is stun immune, so that stun cannot get reflected to you, which is super, super awesome. Love to see that. So here I'm fighting Enchantress. That was a really funny way to remove her her intercept spell, because she wasn't dashing at me, which is annoying. But I can get rid of her green and purple spells all at once right there. And I want to try to kill her before she drops a special in this fight. I don't believe that's going to work out that way because her AI, but it is something that's possible. Like, yeah, right there, she drops it in hard block. But Lumatrix is pretty good against Enchantress. You have the tracking, which is going to make it to where she can't BS you with the miss spell, so that's really nice. But here I'm going to go for my special 1, and then I need to do a little combo here into the special 2, and it's not going to kill her, but it's going to bring her to 8%, and then I can just do that and she's down. So yeah, she's pretty good against, he's pretty good against Enchantress. She didn't actually trigger a untouchable spell, but that is like her most common spell to actually trigger, so normally you will be able to use that utility piece, just we didn't get to see it actually be used there. So lastly, we're going to fight this America Chavez. Not much of a BG's defender anymore, but it is just kind of like a generic, let's see how fast you can kill an average opponent kind of thing. Which I probably should have put this much earlier in the video, because this is like the most generic fight of the entire video, and I put it at the end. But if you clicked off the video early on, well, I guess you don't have to worry about seeing just a nothing fight. So anyway, I'm just going to build up to my special 3, and then I'm going to do the special 1, and then she's just going to die. I do kind of get lucky because I didn't line myself up properly. I didn't drop the special 1 while unblockable, but she dies anyway. So yeah, that's my Lumatrix showcase. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this one. Make sure to subscribe to see the upcoming BG showcases I will be putting out this week, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one.